Look what happens when I hire your kind. Nothing but trouble and mess. Trevor Wilson's fingers dig into Bethany Davis's arm as he drags her across the kitchen floor. Every staff member freezes, watching her public humiliation unfold. Water still drips from where she accidentally spilled on a customer's child. You want to act like an animal? Then you can sit in a cage like one. He throws open the employee bathroom door and shoves her inside. Maybe a few hours in here will remind you that some people are meant to clean up messes, not make them. He slams the door and turns the key with exaggerated satisfaction, holding it high for everyone to see. This is what respect looks like around here. Does anyone else need a demonstration? The kitchen falls dead silent. Bethany's quiet sobbing seeps through the door, but Trevor is already strutting away, convinced he just put another ungrateful employee in her place. He has no idea that a woman's husband controls every business permit in Augusta. What happens in the next 72 hours will end his career forever. 6 hours earlier, Bethany Davis sits at her kitchen table in pre-dawn darkness, nursing textbooks spread before her. Aisha sleeps peacefully in the next room, unaware that her mother has been studying since 4:30. The pharmacology chapter refuses to make sense, but Bethany pushes through. She's been working toward this degree since she was 14, and nothing will stop her now. Her phone buzzes. Daniel, texting from his early morning meeting. City budget session running long. Sorry I can't drive you to work today. She types back quickly. No problem. You handle the government paperwork, I'll handle real people. It's their running joke. Daniel spends his days buried in municipal documents and zoning permits, while she serves coffee and Georgia peach pie to Augusta's working families. Different worlds, same dedication. Bethany showers and pulls on her Southern Belle uniform, pinning her name tag carefully. The $12 an hour she earns here goes directly into her nursing school fund. Every penny matters when you're paying your own way, refusing shortcuts or handouts. She's earned everything she has, and she'll earn everything she gets. The morning shift at Southern Belle flows with practiced rhythm. Bethany knows every regular customer's order, remembers their children's names, asks about their jobs at the textile mill or the auto parts plant. These people work hard for their money, and they deserve respect. Unlike some of her co-workers who see serving tables as beneath them, Bethany takes pride in the work. Trevor Wilson watches her from behind the counter, arms crossed. He's been looking for reasons to correct her behavior since the day she started. Yesterday, he criticized how she folded napkins. Last week, he made her re-clean tables that were already spotless. It's a pattern she recognizes. The systematic grinding down of black women who refuse to appear grateful enough for minimum wage jobs. But Bethany doesn't break. She doesn't complain or argue back. There's something different about her confidence, a quiet strength that seems almost out of place in someone who should feel vulnerable. Other staff members notice it too. Maya often asks how she stays so calm when Trevor targets her. Some battles aren't worth fighting, Bethany always says, but when the right fight comes, you'll know. The festival weekend approaches, bringing busloads of tourists and the promise of good tips. Bethany volunteers for double shifts, while other waitresses beg off, claiming the crowds are too stressful. She doesn't mind the chaos. Every extra hour means money toward her degree, independence earned on her own terms. Her phone rings during her break. Daniel again, discussing some emergency city council matter she doesn't quite follow. Budget allocations, permit reviews, business licenses. The language of local government that sounds important but feels distant from her world of coffee refills and customer complaints. I know the meeting's crucial, honey, she tells him. Just remember to eat lunch. As she hangs up, Maya approaches with curiosity. Your husband sounds important. What kind of government work does he do? Bethany smiles mysteriously. The boring kind that keeps this city running, nothing glamorous. She returns to work, unaware that today's shift will test her choice to stay anonymous in ways she never imagined. The Saturday afternoon rush hits Southern Belle like a freight train. Festival goers pack every booth, their children sticky with cotton candy and restless from the heat. Bethany moves between tables with practiced efficiency, balancing plates of fried green tomatoes and sweet tea pitchers that sweat in the Augusta humidity. Table 12 orders their third round of refills. A family from Atlanta, the mother's designer handbag draped carefully over her chair, the father checking his Rolex between bites. Their 8-year-old daughter wears a pristine white sundress with pink ribbons, the kind that costs more than Bethany makes in a week. "More sweet tea for the little princess," the mother announces, not bothering to look up from her phone. Bethany approaches with a fresh pitcher, navigating around the father's extended leg and the mother's oversized purse. The child kicks her feet under the table, and as Bethany begins to pour, the sudden movement jolts her elbow. The pitcher tilts wrong. Ice-cold, sweet tea cascades across the white sundress. The child shrieks. The mother leaps up, horror spreading across her face. Every conversation in the restaurant stops. "Oh my God, look what you've done!" The mother grabs napkins, frantically dabbing at the dress. "This is a $300 outfit!" "I am so sorry," Bethany says, reaching for more napkins. "Let me help." "Don't touch her!" The mother yanks her daughter away. "You've done enough damage." Other customers turn to stare. Bethany feels heat rising in her cheeks, the familiar burn of public humiliation. She's apologized 6 times now, but the mother continues her dramatic performance, ensuring every person in the restaurant witnesses the scene. "Maybe some people should be more careful," the mother says loudly, her voice carrying to the back booths. "There are standards for a reason." The coded language hits its target. Bethany recognizes the tone, the careful words chosen to wound without crossing obvious lines. Other black staff members exchange glances, understanding the subtext perfectly. Trevor Wilson emerges from behind the counter, drawn by the commotion like a shark to blood. He surveys the scene with barely concealed satisfaction, finally a legitimate reason to put Bethany in her place. "Ma'am, I sincerely apologize for this employee's carelessness," he says to the mother, emphasizing the word employee like a slur. "Southern Belle takes full responsibility for any damages." He turns to Bethany, his voice shifting to barely controlled fury. "You. Kitchen. Now." The walk to the kitchen feels endless. Every customer watches, some with sympathy, others with the grim satisfaction of witnessing someone else's downfall. Maya starts to follow, but Trevor's glare stops her cold. "I said, now," Trevor hisses, grabbing Bethany's arm. In the kitchen, his mask falls away completely. The friendly manager routine dissolves, revealing something uglier underneath. Several staff members pretend to be busy, but everyone listens. 3 years, he says, his voice rising. 3 years I've watched you walk around here like you own the place, like you're better than the job you're paid to do. Trevor, it was an accident. Don't interrupt me. His grip tightens on her arm. You people never take responsibility, do you? Always an excuse, always someone else's fault. The kitchen staff freezes. The words hang in the air like poison. Well, congratulations. You just cost us a customer and probably a lawsuit. Time for some real consequences. He drags her toward the employee bathroom, a cramped space barely large enough for one person. The door opens to reveal a toilet, a tiny sink, and fluorescent lighting that makes everything look sickly. Get in. Trevor, please. In, now. Maya pulls out her phone, pretending to check messages while actually opening TikTok. Her finger hovers over the record button as she watches Trevor's face transform into something she's never seen before. Pure, vindictive pleasure. What happens next will change everything for everyone in that kitchen. Maya's finger trembles as she hits the record button. Through her phone screen, she watches Trevor Wilson drag Bethany toward that bathroom door like she's a piece of trash to be disposed of. The TikTok live stream shows 12 viewers, then 20, then 50, as word spreads through the platform's algorithm. This is happening right now at Southern Belle Diner in Augusta, Georgia, Maya whispers into her phone. The manager just locked a black waitress in the employee bathroom for 2 hours because she spilled tea on a customer's kid. The viewer count explodes. 100. 300. Comments flood the screen faster than Maya can read them. Oh, hell no. Call the police. What's the restaurant's name again? This is imprisonment. Get this viral now. By midnight, the hashtag #HadLockedOut has been shared 8,000 times. Maya's video sits at 52,000 views and climbing. Screenshots circulate on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. The internet has found its latest outrage, and Southern Belle Diner sits squarely in the crosshairs. Sunday morning brings the first phone call to Marcus Brown at the Augusta Chronicle. He's been covering racial issues in Richmond County for 15 years, and he knows the difference between internet drama and real news. The TikTok video makes his stomach turn. He's seen workplace discrimination before, but this level of public humiliation feels deliberately cruel. I'm driving over there now, he tells his editor. This isn't just a bad manager having a bad day. This looks systematic. The Southern Belle parking lot still shows festival decorations from yesterday's rush. Marcus parks next to a pickup truck with a "Heritage Not Hate" bumper sticker and walks inside. The lunch crowd is notably smaller than usual. Word travels fast in Augusta. Patricia Williams, the restaurant's owner, meets him at the door. A third-generation Augusta business family. Her grandfather started Southern Belle in 1952, when Jim Crow laws still governed who could eat where. The irony isn't lost on Marcus. This is all a misunderstanding, Patricia says, her smile too bright, too practiced. We're committed to investigating any workplace concerns through proper channels. Proper channels like locking employees in bathrooms? That was never our policy. If Mr. Wilson acted inappropriately, we'll address it internally. Marcus notices how she says, if, always if with people like Patricia, never when. The Chronicle article publishes Sunday evening. Augusta restaurant manager accused of locking black employee in bathroom. Marcus keeps the tone neutral, factual, but the story speaks for itself. He includes Maya's testimony, the TikTok video, and Patricia's corporate non-response. By Monday morning, #HadLockedOut has reached 150,000 shares. Local radio stations pick up the story. The NAACP office in Augusta starts fielding calls from community members demanding action. But something strange emerges in the social media war. While most comments express outrage and support for Bethany, a coordinated counter-narrative begins spreading. Anonymous accounts with generic names start posting identical talking points. Employees need to take responsibility for their actions. Customer service means being careful with customer property. Two sides to every story. The language feels practiced, corporate. Marcus recognizes the signs of a professional damage control campaign. Someone with money and connections is fighting back hard against this story. The question is, who? At Southern Belle, Trevor Wilson doubles down on his position. He calls a staff meeting Tuesday morning, standing behind the same counter where he humiliated Bethany 3 days ago. I stand by my management decisions, period, he announces to the assembled workers. Sometimes difficult employees require firm correction. That's what leadership looks like. The speech might work if not for Maya Johnson sitting in the front row, still recording everything on her phone. Trevor's words will become another viral moment within hours. Anyone who has a problem with how this restaurant operates is free to find employment elsewhere, he continues, his eyes scanning the room for signs of rebellion. We're here to serve customers, not create drama. But the drama has already escaped his control. Security footage from the festival Saturday somehow finds its way to Marcus Brown's email Monday night. Someone with access to Southern Belle's camera system is feeding information to the press. The footage shows everything: Bethany's accident, the mother's theatrical reaction, Trevor's grab for Bethany's arm. Most damaging of all, it shows the smile on Trevor's face as he locks that bathroom door. Pure satisfaction captured in high definition. The video sparks a second wave of viral outrage. Hashtag Trevor Smirk begins trending alongside hashtag Locked Out. Meme accounts turn his satisfied expression into a symbol of workplace abuse and racial discrimination. Then something unexpected happens. 3 former Southern Bell employees contact Marcus Brown independently. All black women. All with similar stories about Trevor Wilson's management style. Keisha worked there for 8 months in 2022. He made me stand in the walk-in cooler for an hour once because I gave a customer extra butter without charging. Said I needed to cool down my attitude. Destiny lasted 6 weeks in 2023. Trevor told me my hair was distracting to customers, made me wear a hairnet even though white girls with long hair never had to. Jasmine quit after 3 months last year. He had this thing about teaching lessons, always said we needed to learn our place in the world. The pattern becomes undeniable. Trevor Wilson didn't just humiliate Bethany Davis. He's been systematically targeting black women for years. But through all the chaos, media attention, and community outrage, Bethany herself remains strangely calm. She doesn't give interviews or post angry responses on social media. When reporters call her phone, she politely declines to comment. Her composure puzzles everyone, including Marcus Brown. Most people in her situation would be screaming for justice, he tells his editor. She's acting like she knows something the rest of us don't. Maya notices it too. It's like she's waiting for something, she tells friends. Like she's not worried because she knows help is coming. Wednesday evening, Augusta city officials started receiving phone calls demanding answers. Why hasn't anyone been arrested? What regulations govern workplace treatment? Who oversees restaurant licensing? Every call gets the same response. No comment pending investigation. The non-responses feel coordinated, almost suspicious, as if everyone in the city government received the same memo about staying silent. Something bigger is brewing in Augusta. The question everyone's asking is what, and when it will explode. Wednesday night, Bethany Davis sits on her living room floor helping Aisha with homework while her phone buzzes with reporters' calls. The 7-year-old struggles with math problems, tears building in her eyes. Mama, why are people being mean to you? Bethany sets down her pharmacology textbook. Sometimes adults don't know how to act right, baby. Her phone rings. Daniel calling. I can't do this anymore, she whispers, stepping into the kitchen. They're destroying me online. Half the comments call me a liar, the other half want me to sue. I just wanted to finish nursing school. Honey, you don't have to carry this alone. Yes, I do. This was my choice, remember? But now I don't know who I am anymore. Tears flow freely. 3 days of suppressed emotion finally breaking. You are exactly who you've always been. Tomorrow, I'm making sure everyone knows it. Their conversation continues as Daniel discusses tomorrow's emergency council meeting, public comment periods, and municipal procedures. I know the meeting starts at 9, but what if people think I've been dishonest? Then we remind them you chose to work because that's who you are. I love you too. I'll be there when you call for a comment. The president's wife shouldn't hide anymore. Outside in the parking lot, Maya Johnson freezes mid-step. She came to deliver flowers and apologize for recording such a private moment. But Bethany's voice carries through the open window. President's wife. Maya's hands shake as she Googles Augusta City Council President. The search results make her stomach drop. Daniel Davis, elected 8 months ago, 73% of the vote, clean government platform. And in the wedding photo on the official city website, Bethany Davis, smiling in navy blue, the First Lady of Augusta, Georgia. Everything makes sense now. The confidence that seemed misplaced, the mysterious calm, the way she never worried about money despite minimum wage work. She wasn't trapped at Southern Bell. She chose to work there. Maya drives straight to the restaurant, finding Trevor in his office scrolling through social media coverage. Trevor, do you know who Bethany really is? Some waitress who can't keep quiet. What about it? Maya shows him her phone. The city website, the wedding photo, the biography. Trevor's face drains of all color. He grabs the phone, scrolling frantically through information that confirms his worst nightmare. No, this isn't real. But it is real. For 3 days, Trevor Wilson has been publicly humiliating Augusta's First Lady. The same council that approves business licenses, regulates health codes, controls everything that keeps Southern Belle operating. The phone crashes to his office floor. Trevor realizes he didn't just attack a waitress. He declared war on the woman married to the most powerful man in Augusta. Word spreads through the restaurant like wildfire. Kitchen staff huddle around phones, reading and rereading the revelation. Patricia Williams gets the call at home and immediately contacts her lawyers. Local news stations scramble reporters. Augusta discovers its First Lady has been working among them all along. Not because she had to, but because she chose to. And one manager's racism just exposed every dirty secret in the city. Tomorrow's council meeting is going to change everything. Thursday morning explodes across Augusta like a bomb detonation. Marcus Brown's follow-up story hits the Chronicle's website at 6 a.m. Restaurant manager targeted city council president's wife in systematic discrimination campaign. The headline transforms everything. This isn't just workplace drama anymore. It's political dynamite with federal implications. Marcus has spent all night building his case, and the evidence mountain keeps growing. His phone hasn't stopped ringing since word broke about Bethany's true identity. Former employees, current staff, even customers are coming forward with stories that paint a disturbing pattern. The first major piece arrives from an anonymous tip. Someone with access to Southern Belle's payroll system emails Marcus 3 years of time card records. The data tells a devastating story that numbers can't lie about. Black female employees consistently receive fewer peak-hour shifts. Weekend breakfast crowds and Friday night rushes, the money-making times, go exclusively to white waitresses. Bethany's time cards show she worked more double shifts than anyone else, yet her schedule avoided the most profitable hours. This isn't a coincidence, Marcus types in his morning update. This is systematic wage theft disguised as scheduling. But the time cards are just the beginning. Maya Johnson, emboldened by Tuesday's revelations, makes a decision that will haunt Trevor Wilson forever. She uploads screenshots of the Southern Belle staff group chat to Twitter. Messages dating back 18 months, preserved in digital amber. Trevor's texts reveal his true mindset. The new girl thinks she's hot stuff. Time to cool her down. These people always need extra training on respect. Bethany's getting too comfortable. Customers noticed her attitude yesterday. The screenshots go viral within hours. #Trevor texts joins #locked out as trending topics. Each message provides another nail in Trevor's professional coffin, documented evidence of premeditation and racial animus. Patricia Williams calls an emergency meeting with her legal team, but the damage keeps spreading. Someone, still anonymous, sends Marcus audio recordings from the restaurant's security system. Conversations captured during slow periods when staff thought no one was listening. Trevor's voice comes through crystal clear. She acts like she owns the place. Somebody needs to remind her what kind of work this really is. Another recording from last month. I don't care who her people think they are. In my kitchen, everyone learns their place. The audio files spread across social media faster than Patricia's lawyers can issue takedown requests. Local radio stations play excerpts during drive time shows. Augusta residents hear Trevor's naked racism in their cars, their offices, their homes. Daniel Davis maintains careful silence through Thursday morning, following legal counsel's advice about potential conflicts of interest. But his political allies aren't constrained by the same ethics rules. By noon, 3 council members had issued statements supporting a comprehensive investigation into discriminatory business practices. The statements carry weight because they come with power. Augusta's City Council controls business licenses, health department inspections, tax assessments, zoning permits. Every lever of municipal authority now aligns against Southern Belle. Federal attention arrives faster than anyone expected. Sarah Thompson, a civil rights attorney with the Southern Poverty Law Center, drives down from Atlanta after reviewing Maya's TikTok footage. She files a formal complaint with the Department of Justice by Thursday afternoon. This represents a clear pattern of civil rights violations under Title VII, she tells reporters outside the federal courthouse. When workplace discrimination targets the spouse of an elected official, it becomes an attack on democratic participation itself. The DOJ complaint triggers automatic protocols. Within hours, federal investigators begin reviewing Augusta's municipal practices, searching for connections between restaurant industry lobbying and city policy decisions. What they find stuns even experienced corruption investigators. Campaign finance records show the Augusta Restaurant Association donated heavily to multiple city council campaigns over the past decade. The money trail leads through PACs and shell organizations, but the pattern emerges clearly. Restaurants buy influence, then use that influence to avoid accountability for workplace violations. Trevor Wilson's social media history becomes another devastating receipt. Digital forensics reveal years of racist posts, carefully hidden from public view but preserved in cached data. Screenshots show Confederate flag memes, heritage not hate slogans, and coded language about certain people knowing their place. The posts predate his employment at Southern Bell, establishing a pattern of racial bias that transforms the bathroom incident from isolated misconduct to inevitable outcome. Health department records add another layer to the mounting evidence. Anonymous whistleblowers reveal that Southern Bell's employee bathroom, the same one where Trevor imprisoned Bethany, has been cited multiple times for inadequate ventilation and sanitation issues. Using it as a timeout room constitutes a potential health code violation on top of everything else. Medical records, released with Bethany's permission, document the physical impact of workplace stress. Emergency room visits for chest pains, prescription anxiety medication. Doctors' notes about stress-induced symptoms that began shortly after Trevor's harassment campaign intensified. The receipts keep coming because Augusta's black community has found its voice. Decades of suppressed workplace incidents surface as people realize someone is finally listening. Restaurant workers, retail employees, municipal staff, all sharing stories about the Trevor Wilsons they've encountered. Community organizing reaches fever pitch Thursday evening. The Mount Olive Baptist Church opens its doors for a town hall meeting that draws over 300 people. Bethany doesn't attend. Daniel's lawyers advise against public appearances, but her presence is felt in every testimony. If they'll treat the president's wife like that, imagine what they do to the rest of us, says Keisha Williams, one of Trevor's former targets. Maya Johnson takes the microphone to thunderous applause. I almost didn't record that video. I was scared for my job. But seeing Bethany's courage made me realize we can't stay silent anymore. The meeting ends with concrete action steps, organized boycotts of Southern Bell and businesses with similar practices, petition drives for stronger workplace protection ordinances, voter registration tables for November's municipal elections. But Thursday's most devastating receipt comes from an unexpected source. The Georgia Department of Labor reveals that Southern Bell has been systematically underreporting workplace injury claims, particularly those filed by black employees. The practice saves money on workers' compensation insurance while leaving injured workers without benefits. Trevor Wilson's management extended far beyond racist bathrooms incidents. He ran a comprehensive system designed to exploit and diminish black employees while protecting the restaurant's bottom line. By Thursday midnight, Trevor's entire world has collapsed. Local news stations camp outside his apartment. His photograph appears on national television alongside words like discrimination and federal investigation. Social media has turned his name into a symbol of workplace racism. Patricia Williams fires him in a tersely worded press release that blames everything on one rogue employee's unauthorized actions. But the receipts tell a different story. Text messages show Patricia knew about Trevor's management style and approved of his results. The evidence mountain now reaches federal proportions. civil rights violations, wage theft, health code infractions, campaign finance irregularities, and systematic discrimination spanning multiple years. Each receipt strengthens the case for comprehensive prosecution and institutional change. Augusta discovers that Bethany Davis wasn't Trevor's victim. She was his downfall. Her choice to work at Southern Belle exposed a network of corruption that reaches from restaurant kitchens to City Hall. Tomorrow brings the emergency city council meeting where Daniel must recuse himself from decisions affecting his wife's case. But the receipts have already spoken louder than any political speech ever could. Trevor Wilson built his own prison, one racist action at a time. Now Augusta holds the key. Friday morning brings the counterattack. Southern Belle's corporate headquarters unleashes a legal assault designed to destroy Bethany Davis and everyone supporting her. The first lawsuit arrives at Daniel's office at 8 a.m., hand-delivered by process servers. $2 million in damages for defamation, conspiracy, and intentional interference with business operations. The complaint paints Bethany as a calculated deceiver who infiltrated Southern Belle to manufacture a discrimination lawsuit. She deliberately concealed her identity to entrap honest business operators into compromising situations for political gain. Trevor Wilson, now represented by a Savannah defense firm, coordinates his media strategy with surgical precision. His attorney holds a press conference outside the courthouse, framing Trevor as the real victim. Mr. Wilson administered standard workplace discipline to an employee who damaged customer property, the lawyer announces. He had no knowledge of family connections to city government. This prosecution represents a dangerous precedent where political marriages shield individuals from accountability. Conservative media outlets across Georgia pick up the story immediately. Headlines read, "City Council President's Wife Cries Racism After Workplace Accident," and "Augusta Official Uses Position to Protect Careless Spouse." Social media warfare erupts as professional trolls flood comment sections with coordinated talking points. She was dishonest about who she was. Two sides to every story. Political setup from day one. The Augusta Restaurant Association launches its own offensive, filing ethics complaints alleging Daniel used his council position to retaliate against legitimate businesses. The complaints demand his immediate resignation and criminal investigation for abuse of power. Daniel faces an impossible choice: support his wife publicly and end his political career, or maintain ethical distance and abandon her to face the assault alone. Anonymous phone calls begin Thursday night and escalate through the weekend. Bethany's number rings constantly with threats disguised as advice. Tell your husband to back off if he knows what's good for him. Accidents happen to people who cause trouble. Your little girl is pretty. Shame if something happened at school. The calls force them to change Aisha's school routine and install security cameras. What began as workplace discrimination has metastasized into fear for their family's safety. Bethany's health deteriorates under relentless assault. Panic attacks wake her at 3 a.m. Chest pains send her to the emergency room twice in 1 week. Her nursing school grades slip for the first time since freshman year. Medical records from Friday's ER visit show stress-induced cardiac symptoms severe enough to require overnight monitoring. The attending physician documents anxiety levels consistent with trauma patients, physical evidence of what sustained character assassination does to the human body. Maya Johnson faces her own retaliation. Someone reports her to the Georgia Department of Labor for illegally recording workplace conversations. The complaint could result in felony charges and permanent employment blacklisting. Other Southern Belle employees receive similar threats. Keisha Williams gets fired from her new job after anonymous callers claim she's a troublemaker with false accusations. The message spreads through Augusta's service industry. Support Bethany Davis. Face economic consequences. Daniel's marriage strains under pressures neither anticipated. Late-night arguments about whether fighting is worth the cost echo through their house while Aisha pretends to sleep. Maybe choosing independence was choosing isolation, Bethany tells him during one dark moment. The federal investigation faces systematic resistance. Key witnesses become suddenly unavailable. Former Southern Bell employees who initially contacted Marcus Brown now refuse phone calls. Someone is intimidating potential testimony. Restaurant Association lawyers flood federal courts with motions designed to delay and obstruct the civil rights investigation. They claim the case represents politically motivated federal overreach and demand dismissal based on prosecutorial bias. Financial warfare targets the Davis family directly. Daniel's campaign contributors receive calls questioning his fitness for office. Municipal bond investors express concerns about Augusta's political stability. Anonymous letters threaten the Chronicle with advertiser boycotts if Marcus Brown continues coverage. The publisher begins questioning aggressive investigative reporting. Maybe it's time to let this story cool down, he suggested during Monday's editorial meeting. Trevor emerges from hiding for a carefully coached interview with a conservative blogger. He presents himself as a working-class manager destroyed by elite political connections. "I treated every employee the same way," he claims, voice breaking with practiced emotion. "If I made mistakes, they were mistakes of trying to maintain standards, not racism." Southern Bell's corporate office issued statements calling the allegations completely one-sided and claiming they were committed to investigating any workplace concerns through proper channels. Trevor Wilson's attorney declined additional comment pending legal proceedings. The coordinated assault achieves its intended effect. Community support for Bethany begins wavering as residents question whether the fight is worth the chaos. Some wonder if she really was dishonest about her identity. By Monday evening, Bethany sits in her kitchen wondering if she made the biggest mistake of her life. The woman who chose to work like everyone else now faces consequences no one predicted. But in Augusta, Georgia, the darkest hour often comes right before dawn. Tuesday morning, Bethany Davis sits on her bathroom floor at 4 a.m., chest tight from another panic attack. The prescription bottle beside her holds anxiety medication she swore she'd never need. 2 pills a day to function, 3 on bad days. Her nursing textbooks sit untouched beside the tub. GPA dropped from 3.8 to 3.2 in 2 weeks. Dreams that once felt achievable now seem impossibly distant. "Maybe it's not worth it," she whispers to the darkness. Daniel finds her there, helps her to bed without words. The resignation letter sits on his desk, unspoken but understood. Choose between supporting his wife or saving his political career. Aisha knocks on their bedroom door, dark circles under 7-year-old eyes. Nightmares about bad men coming for Mama haven't let her sleep through the night since the threat started. "Do I have to go to school today?" "Yes, baby. Education is important." But Bethany's voice sounds hollow even to herself. At breakfast, Aisha scrolls through comments on Maya's TikTok video. Strangers call her mother a fraud, a setup artist, and a political opportunist. "Mama, why do people say you're a liar?" The question hits like a physical blow. "Sometimes people don't understand choices." "Did you make bad choices?" Bethany stares at her daughter and feels crushing doubt about every decision. "I don't know anymore." The honesty tastes bitter. For weeks, she maintained confidence in working at Southern Bell. Financial independence, staying connected to families, proving merit over marriage, noble reasons that feel naive now. Maya Johnson hasn't called since death threats started. Marcus Brown's editor reassigned him. Even Sarah Thompson seems less responsive. Isolation creeps in like fog, cutting Bethany off from allies who once seemed unshakable. Daniel leaves for work without his usual goodbye kiss. Silence fills spaces where easy conversation used to flow. Neither admits how the fight has fractured their marriage. At nursing school, classmates offer polite nods instead of warm greetings. In the break room, she overhears whispered conversations. If she was honest from the beginning, none of this would have happened. Why hide who you are unless you're planning something? Even people who should understand question her motives. Working students balancing jobs and education wonder why she couldn't just be the president's wife. Medical records from yesterday's emergency room visit document stress-induced cardiac symptoms, chest pains severe enough to require monitoring, physical evidence of what sustained character assassination does to the human body. Trevor Wilson gives interviews from hiding, presenting himself as a working-class victim destroyed by elite connections. She learned about honesty the hard way, he tells sympathetic bloggers. Patricia Williams issues smug statements through lawyers. Political stunts don't work forever. Truth always emerges. Community support wavers as residents question whether the fight is worth the chaos it brought. Some friends distance themselves from controversy. Aisha withdraws from school activities, afraid of questions about Mama. That evening, Bethany sits in her grandmother's rocking chair, remembering stories about lunch counter sit-ins and voter registration drives. Sometimes, baby girl, Meemaw used to say, you choose hard right over easy wrong. Don't matter if folks understand. Truth is truth. But what if truth isn't enough? What if choosing to fight brings more pain to people you love? Daniel finds her there after midnight. Whatever you choose, I'm with you. If I quit now, what message does that send? She asks. That powerful people can break you if they push hard enough? Or that family matters more than pride? Bethany rocks slowly, watching Aisha sleep nearby. Her daughter's peaceful face provides the only answer that matters. Some battles aren't about winning or losing. They're about what kind of world you leave behind. Maybe tomorrow brings different answers. Maybe hope lives on the other side of despair, waiting for communities to remember what justice means. For now, Bethany Davis sits in darkness, wondering if choosing independence means choosing isolation forever. Wednesday morning brings the phone call that changes everything. Dr. Patricia Henderson from Augusta NAACP reaches Bethany at home, her voice carrying decades of experience fighting battles like this. Sister, you're not alone. We're organizing a community response. Mount Olive Baptist Church overflows with 300 people demanding justice. Black families, white allies, restaurant workers from across Richmond County. The crowd spills onto the street in unity. Bethany thought she'd lost forever. Maya Johnson takes the microphone to thunderous applause. I almost didn't record that video because I was scared for my job. But Bethany's courage made me realize we can't stay silent. 3 white Southern Bell employees break silence publicly. Sarah Mitchell, Jennifer Taylor, and Amanda Brooks stand together, sharing stories about Trevor's targeting they witnessed but never reported. We were cowards, Sarah admits, tears flowing. We let fear keep us quiet while our sisters suffered. Not anymore. The petition demanding Trevor's prosecution reaches 15,000 signatures by Thursday. Names from every Augusta neighborhood, crossing racial and economic lines in ways the city hasn't seen since the civil rights era. National attention amplifies local voices. CNN features Bethany during prime time. MSNBC interviews Marcus Brown. Augusta's local fight becomes America's conversation. Celebrity support arrives unexpectedly. Oprah mentions Bethany during her book club, calling her a reminder that dignity isn't negotiable. Tyler Perry tweets support to 11 million followers. Federal backing materializes quickly. The Department of Justice announces formal civil rights investigation, triggering automatic reviews of Augusta's municipal practices. FBI agents begin interviewing former Southern Bell employees. Legal reinforcements transform her position overnight. ACLU assigns 2 attorneys full-time. Southern Poverty Law Center commits long-term litigation resources. Pro bono representation worth hundreds of thousands becomes available. GoFundMe reaches $75,000 by week's weekend. Donations from every state, messages from working mothers, civil rights veterans, nursing students who see themselves in Bethany's struggle. Daniel issues a careful statement supporting his wife while maintaining ethics. Bethany chose to work because of who she is, not despite who I am. That choice deserves respect. Community healing begins organically. Interracial dialogue sessions spring up in church basements. Conversations about workplace dignity, hidden discrimination, courage required to speak truth to power. Trevor's isolation becomes complete as allies distance themselves. Restaurant colleagues, drinking buddies, even family members publicly disavow his actions. His lawyers struggle finding character witnesses. Federal subpoenas arrive at Southern Bell headquarters Thursday afternoon. Agents seize financial records, employment files, communications dating back 5 years. Patricia Williams watches helplessly as evidence trucks carry away company secrets. Bethany's strength surprises everyone, including herself. "I'm not fighting for myself anymore," she tells reporters outside Mount Olive. "I'm fighting for every person who thought they had to choose between dignity and employment." Aisha's school rallies around the family. Teachers offer tutoring. Principals arrange security. Classmates draw support pictures. The 7-year-old goes from isolated to celebrated. Marcus Brown's editor reverses course, authorizing expanded investigation resources. Circulation spikes as readers follow Augusta's unfolding drama. Restaurant businesses across Richmond County begin reviewing workplace policies, fearful of federal scrutiny spreading beyond Southern Bell. Friday morning, 6 a.m. FBI agents arrive at Southern Bell Diner with search warrants and evidence bags. The restaurant that opened for breakfast service 30 minutes earlier suddenly becomes a federal crime scene. Special Agent Rebecca Martinez leads the operation, her team systematically photographing every inch of the employee bathroom where Bethany was imprisoned. Crime scene tape transforms the mundane restroom into evidence of civil rights violations. This is now a federal investigation into conspiracy to violate civil rights under Title VII, Agent Martinez announces to gathered reporters. "We're treating this as systematic discrimination with potential criminal elements." The raid triggers a second revelation that destroys Trevor Wilson's remaining credibility. Digital forensics specialists discover his deleted social media history, cached data revealing years of racist posts carefully hidden from employers and the general public. Screenshots flood social media within hours. Confederate flag memes. Heritage not hate slogans. Coded language about certain people knowing their place. Comments celebrating violence against civil rights protesters. A digital paper trail of hatred spanning back to 2018. Trevor exposed trends nationally as the posts go viral. Each screenshot provides another piece of evidence establishing premeditated racial animus. Trevor didn't just make a mistake, he acted on deeply held beliefs about black inferiority. Grand jury proceedings accelerate beyond anyone's expectations. Federal prosecutors present evidence of conspiracy to violate civil rights, systematic wage discrimination, and interstate commerce violations. The bathroom incident becomes the tip of an iceberg reaching federal criminal territory. Patricia Williams receives her arrest warrant at 11 a.m. Friday, FBI agents arriving at her Somerville mansion while she hosts a garden party fundraiser for the Augusta Country Club. Handcuffs applied in front of Augusta's social elite, her humiliation complete and public. Mrs. Williams is charged with conspiracy to violate civil rights under federal law, Agent Martinez reads from the warrant. Evidence suggests systematic policies designed to discriminate against black employees across multiple restaurant locations. Corporate emails seized during the raid reveal the conspiracy's scope. Patricia Williams knew about Trevor's management techniques and actively encouraged his results. Internal communications discuss maintaining proper workplace culture and ensuring staff understand expectations. The smoking gun arrives in a December 2023 email from Patricia to Trevor. Continue your current approach to staff management. Results speak for themselves. Some employees need firmer guidance than others. Restaurant Association investigation expands into RICO territory. Federal agents discover coordinated efforts across Georgia restaurant chains to suppress wages, avoid discrimination lawsuits, and intimidate potential whistleblowers. Campaign finance violations emerge as investigators trace money flows between restaurant lobbies and city council elections. What began as workplace discrimination has uncovered municipal corruption reaching into Augusta's highest political circles. Trevor Wilson's complete psychological breakdown unfolds on live television. His carefully coached media interviews collapse into incoherent rambling about reverse racism and political persecution. Even his expensive lawyers struggle to control the damage. "She was pretending. She was lying about who she was," he screams at reporters outside the federal courthouse. "I'm the victim here. I'm being destroyed for doing my job." The outburst, captured on dozens of phone cameras, becomes another viral moment. Trevor's entitled rage confirms everything his critics suspected about his character and motivations. National media attention reaches fever pitch. CNN assigns correspondents to Augusta full-time. The story leads evening newscasts across all major networks. Augusta becomes a symbol of hidden workplace racism throughout corporate America. Stock market reactions devastate Southern Bell's parent company. Share prices plummet 40% in 3 trading days. Franchise locations across 5 states report customer boycotts and employee walkouts. Community transformation accelerates as other businesses implement proactive policy changes. Fear of federal investigation motivates workplace dignity improvements across Richmond County's service industry. Daniel Davis emerges from ethical constraints to fully support his wife. Bethany's courage exposed corruption that threatened our entire community. She chose to work among real people, and real people chose to protect her. Federal settlement negotiations begin immediately. Justice Department attorneys discuss compensation packages exceeding $800,000, plus mandatory policy reforms across the restaurant industry. Monday evening, Augusta City Hall transforms into a courthouse of public opinion. 500 people pack the council chambers designed for 100, overflow crowds filling hallways and spilling onto the street. National news trucks line Broad Street as cameras prepare to broadcast Augusta's reckoning with its own conscience. Daniel Davis takes his seat in the front row, having recused himself from all proceedings affecting his wife's case. Vice President Jennifer Collins gavels the emergency session to order, her voice carrying the weight of historic responsibility. Tonight, Augusta faces questions about who we are as a community and what we stand for as neighbors. Trevor Wilson sits in the back corner, flanked by his Savannah attorneys and looking smaller than anyone remembers. The man who terrorized employees with bathroom imprisonment now shrinks from public scrutiny. His confident smirk has vanished, replaced by the hollow stare of someone whose world collapsed completely. Patricia Williams occupies a defendant's table, released on federal bond but facing criminal charges that could destroy her family's 3-generation business legacy. Her expensive suit and perfect makeup can't hide the desperation in her eyes. Bethany Davis approaches the podium with quiet dignity. No dramatic gestures, no angry rhetoric, just 20 minutes of calm, factual testimony that holds the chamber in absolute silence. "I chose to work at Southern Bell because I believe in earning my way through life," she begins, her voice carrying to every corner of the packed room. "I chose to study nursing because I want to heal people. I chose to keep my husband's position private because I wanted to be judged by my own character, not his title." She pauses, making eye contact with Trevor across the room. "What happened to me wasn't about spilled tea or customer service. It was about a system designed to humiliate people who look like me. A system that treats human dignity as negotiable based on skin color and perceived powerlessness." The crowd erupts in sustained applause. Trevor's lawyers grip his shoulders, preventing him from responding to testimony that will likely be quoted in federal sentencing hearings. Council votes are swift and unanimous. Southern Bell's business license revoked immediately. New workplace dignity. Ordinance passed without dissent. Emergency audit of all restaurant licensing approved with expanded scope. Federal marshals enter the chamber as the session concludes. They approach Trevor Wilson with arrest warrants for criminal civil rights violations. The perp walk through Augusta's City Hall becomes the defining image of accountability finally served. Outside, Trevor faces a gauntlet of camera flashes and shouted questions. His breakdown is complete and public, the entitled rage of someone who expected protection but found only consequences. "This isn't fair," he screams at reporters. "I was doing my job." But Augusta has decided what fairness actually looks like. Federal settlement documents arrive during the week. $850,000 in compensation for Bethany. Mandatory policy reforms across the entire restaurant industry. Federal monitoring of workplace practices extending far beyond Richmond County. Trevor Wilson's sentencing hearing sets precedent for civil rights enforcement nationwide. 18 months in federal prison becomes the price of bathroom imprisonment and systematic discrimination. Southern Belle Augusta closes permanently, its building becoming a community garden where children of all colors play together. 1 year later, Bethany Davis pins her nursing degree to the wall of her office at Augusta University Medical Center. Head of Patient Advocacy, a position she earned through merit and maintained through character. The woman who chose to work as a waitress now heals her community in ways that extend far beyond medicine. Aisha thrives in second grade. Honor roll student whose confidence was restored when her mother proved that fighting for justice always matters. She tells classmates proudly that her mama stood up to bullies and won. Daniel Davis wins re-election with 89% of the vote. Augusta residents choosing leaders who support family values over political calculations. His campaign slogan, "Dignity for all workers, protection for all families." Trevor Wilson remains in federal prison, bankruptcy proceedings liquidating every asset he once owned. Social exile accompanies financial ruin. Even family members publicly disavowed his actions. The man who locked doors on others now lives behind bars himself. Patricia Williams serves community service under federal supervision. Her restaurant empire dissolved and sold to minority business owners who implement worker protection policies as core values. Augusta becomes a national model for workplace civil rights enforcement. The Bethany Davis Act passed the House Labor Committee, establishing federal protections against discriminatory discipline in service industries. Today, Southern Belle's former location blooms as Bethany's Garden, where Augusta children of all colors play together on land once marked by hatred. The metallic click that started this story echoes differently now. Not the sound of imprisonment, but the sound of doors opening to opportunity, dignity, and justice. If this story restored your faith that communities can choose courage over comfort, hit like and subscribe. Share your workplace dignity stories below. Remember, you're never as powerless as someone wants you to believe. Sometimes one locked door unlocks a community's conscience.